When you picture the original 151 Pokémon, you probably imagine dragons, massive turtles with water cannons, or spectral ghosts. And then there is this, a completely still, featureless red and white sphere. Game critics have not held back on it over the years. Outlets like IGN have called Voltorb probably the laziest Pokémon design, while GamesRadar labeled it the absolute worst offender of the entire franchise. The argument is straightforward. Modeling a living creature exactly after the lifeless item used to catch it feels like a creative failure. If you take away the eyes, it is literally just a Poké Ball. But Ken Sugimori, the lead character designer for the series, didn't sketch this at the last minute to meet a deadline. Voltorb was actually one of the very first concepts drafted, back when the game was still being pitched under the name Capsule Monsters. Sugimori prioritized a specific gameplay experience over a complex visual silhouette, designing a creature that relied on its environment to be effective. This design choice was shaped by the hardware constraints of the mid-1990s. Game Freak had to build an entire world within the tiny, monochromatic resolution of the original Super Game Boy. To make the graphics legible, each sprite needed a single, distinct color identity. Voltorb's simple, spherical shape served a functional purpose. By mirroring the sprite used for items scattered across the map, it could hide in plain sight. This concept was borrowed from the mimic found in tabletop role-playing games. For decades, dungeon masters had used monsters disguised as treasure chests to surprise greedy adventurers. Game Freak adapted this trope for a new audience. If you explore the abandoned power plant in the original Red and Blue games, the floors are littered with those familiar spherical item containers. They utilized player greed. You walk up expecting a free technical machine or a rare candy and press the A button to collect your loot. Instead, the container attacks you. This trick only works if the creature is visually identical to the item. Aesthetic simplicity was a requirement to execute this bait and switch. This chart compares Voltorb's stats to the rest of the Generation 1 roster. Look at the stark spike right here. Voltorb has a base 100 speed, making it one of the fastest creatures available in the early game. Because the battle system calculates turn order based on this stat, triggering a Voltorb encounter means you are mathematically likely to take a hit before you can even select the run option. This speed is paired with a specific combat behavior. If you disturb one, its signature moves are Self-Destruct and Explosion, attacks that inflict heavy damage by sacrificing the user. By combining a guaranteed first strike with a suicidal detonation, the developers created a living bomb. It injected physical risk into the act of exploring the world. There is another layer to this design rooted in Japanese folklore, the legend of the Tsukumogami. This myth suggests that an ordinary tool or household object will gain a soul and become sentient on its 100th birthday. This legend mirrors Voltorb's specific placement in the Pokédex. It sits at entry number 100, the exact age a tool must reach to transform. Decades later, Pokémon Legends Arceus expanded on this concept with the ancient Hisuian Voltorb. It features a grass and electric dual typing, with a wood grain anatomy and seeds sprouting from its head. Unlike its modern counterpart, the ancient Voltorb has a cheerful demeanor. Instead of detonating in anger, it playfully discharges electricity while interacting with people. This raises a central continuity question. In the ancient Hisui region, Poké Balls are crafted from wood. So, did the Pokémon evolve to mimic the wooden Poké Ball, or did human beings model their technology after the Pokémon? Look at where these two versions live. Hisuian Voltorb roams through open, natural landscapes, while the Kanto Voltorb is found in the concrete and steel of an industrialized power plant. This timeline visualizes an environmental narrative spanning centuries. Living alongside human industrialization altered the species. As factories replaced forests, the friendly wooden creature shifted into an angry, metallic, explosive hazard. Voltorb stands as the earliest example of an object Pokémon. It established a precedent for how the franchise would later incorporate inanimate objects, like lamps, keys, and tea sets, into its world-building. A character doesn't require a complex illustration to be compelling. When the mechanics execute a perfect trap, the lore taps into traditional mythology, and the environment tells a story of industrialization, A simple sphere is all you need to make the world feel dangerous.